So, I made 3 videos about the quickest way to upgrade a weapon to plus 15 in Dark Souls. It's about time I move on to something else, and that is the same thing but on Dark Souls 2. Now, the standard upgrade path from Dark Souls 2 is much simpler than the first game. It only goes to plus 10 and you don't need any embers to do that. You only need the materials. It's ridiculously easy to upgrade your gear. Some people actually criticize Dark Souls 2 because of how easy it is to get a weapon to the max level. Titanite slabs are not rare at all, and all the other materials are pretty easy to get, except for maybe the Titanite chunks. Just like in the first game, you need Titanite shards, large Titanite shards, Titanite chunks, and 1 Titanite slab to upgrade a standard weapon. You need 6 of each, except for the slab. The upgrade path goes like this: 1 2 3, 1 2 3, 1 2 3, 1. Who said Dark Souls isn't educational, huh? The large and small Titanite shards are pretty easy to get. You can just loot it from various places. The smaller ones are sold by Lenigrast, the blacksmith from Majula, and the large ones are sold by Macduff, the blacksmith from Lost Bastille. However, in the original vanilla version of Dark Souls 2, you won't be able to talk to him before getting the dull ember from Iron Keep. In Scholar, said ember is located at Lost Bastille, defeating the purpose of having an ember in the first place. The biggest hassle of this run are the Titanite chunks. Those are the ones that will dictate which route to take. After trying some stuff, I came up with 3 routes to get a weapon to the max level in Dark Souls 2. And by the way, I'm playing the Scholar version, so I don't know if all of this applies to the original vanilla version, okay? The first route is the simplest one. All of the materials that we need, Titanite chunks, large Titanite shards in the Titanite slab, are located in Brightstone Cove Tseldora, which makes sense, it's a mining place after all. It doesn't take long to get to Tseldora. The major obstacle in the way is a petrified statue that requires a fragrant branch of yore to get rid of. Basically, the objective of this route is to get to Tseldora, and after dealing with the statue, we have to kill Nazca and Prowling Magus and Congregation. In this run, I also had to kill the last giant for some souls. The second route would still require to kill Nazca, but we wouldn't need to go all the way to Tseldora. There are 2 Titanite chunks in Shaded Woods and 1 at Door of Pharaohs. The other 3 that we need are located in Forest of the Fallen Giants, but only at Bonfire Intensity 2, meaning we would have to defeat the last giant and the Pursuer and burn the Bonfire Ascetic that we got from the starting gift at the Cardinal Tower Bonfire to get those Titanite chunks. There's also 1 Titanite slab behind a Pharaoh's Lockstone contraption in the same room, and that one is available in normal NG. For this route, we would also need to go to the Lost Bastille for the large Titanite shards, since we're not going to Tseldora. Lastly, we have the third route. In this one, we don't even have to go to Shaded Woods at all. We can use 2 Bonfire Ascetics at the Cardinal Tower Bonfire to get all 6 Titanite chunks, but the problem is that we would have to defeat the Ruined Sentinels, because the closest Bonfire Ascetic we can get apart from the one from the starting gift is the one from the Lost Bastille. We would also need to defeat the last giant and Pursuer on their NG Plus versions, which isn't that hard considering we can cheese the Pursuer using the ballistas, and the last giant is pretty easy even at NG Plus. I tried all of these routes and frankly, I think they take all about the same time. So for this video, I'll focus on the first route, the one where we go to Tseldora. We only have to kill 3 bosses and we don't have to waste Bonfire Ascetics on an item that you can easily get later in the game. Now, the hardest part of this run aren't the bosses or the enemies. No, the real challenge are the crystal lizards. We'll have to kill a bunch of them for the materials. And if you ever play Dark Souls 2, you know how annoying it is to kill these fuckers. And they do not respawn by simply quitting and reloading like in the first game. I'm not a Dark Souls 2 hater, but damn man, even the crystal lizards they've managed to fuck up. Come on, get over here you lizard fuck. Alright, this time I got you. Fuck ass shit cunt. Alright, just one more hit. Are you fucking kidding me? So yeah, that's going to be an issue, especially with the crystal lizards from Tseldora that have more health, but we will overcome that. Alright, let's start a new save file. We started things bit tweaks, and we have to run to the Firekeeper's house so we can create our character. I'll be choosing the Knight, mainly for the stats. This class has the highest starting vigor, and you'll understand in a bit why having high vigor is important for this run. My starting gift is a bonfire aesthetic, but it really doesn't matter for this run. And the hair of my character will be of a blue, kinda purplish color. And that's very important. I'll destroy this carriage here so I can pick up the soul, and I'm not even gonna bother with the bonfire because I'll not be returning to here. I'll also remove all of my clothes because the lower your equip load, the faster your stamina regenerates. Now we have reached Majula and its splendid view. I'll do a jump to the right because it's faster. I go next to the blacksmith shop to pick up this soul, and then I lit the bonfire so I can teleport back here later. Now it's time we head on to the forest of the fallen giants. While this door opens, I'll use the souls I have picked up, and Lord knows we have plenty of time to do that. I'll do a drop down over here to pick up the Homer bone, and now I can proceed down the river. Dodging these enemies isn't difficult, but it's gonna get more complicated. I'll climb up the ladder, and after this, you have to be very quick to go straight to the fog wall. If you do it fast enough, the enemies won't be able to hit you while you go through it. There's one hollow in this corridor, but if you run glued to the wall, he'll miss the jump attack. There are some boxes on the way, so you can jump to break them out while going past the enemies. Now, this ladder is a piece of shit. Basically, you have to climb it as fast as you can and just spray the enemies, don't knock you out of it. The best thing that can happen here is not staggering at all, but you will take some damage. There's one enemy that will chase you down the bonfire rune every time, and sometimes the other enemies will follow you as well. Luckily, I was able to deal with them with ease. Now let's hang out at the second floor. You can actually break this door with 3 attacks. Inside there's a crystal lizard that drops 2 titanite shards. He dies easily with 2 broadswords R2s. In this room there's also the hand axe, which is a better weapon than the broadsword for now. At the bonfire I'll use my souls to buy 1 firebomb and the blacksmith shop key from the old hag. And then I sit at the bonfire for the health. Now it's time we do the firebomb wall explosion glitch. Basically, you have to stand at the second to last tile, maybe a little to its left, and then position the camera all the way to the floor, and I found it's more consistent if you align it a little bit diagonally like this. Then just roll the firebomb and you should explode together with the wall. Now let's go to the last giant, but first there's some stuff we need to pick up in the ballista's rune. You can just drop down here that none of the enemies will follow you. There's a trap in this chest that contains 1 titanite shard. To open this door, you have to hit it so the enemies from the other side will open it for you. Another cool feature from Dark Souls 2. There are 3 enemies in this room and they can give you a hard time. But luckily we have the hand axe, which is pretty handy, right guys? Inside this chest there's 1 large titanite shard and a life ring. Now we can proceed back to the path to the last giant. You have to be quick at this part because there are some enemies throwing firebombs and these barrels will explode and roast your ass if you stand still. You can jump to get this hollow out of the way. Up here there's 1 Homer bone that we'll definitely need later. And coming over here is also good to bait the enemy out of the way. These 2 spear enemies are the bane of my existence. The best thing you can do here is stand at their front to bait their attack and roll through the middle so you can pass the fog door without being interrupted. Or you can just kill them. That can work as well. Now we can take the elevator. I'm not even going to bother with the shortcut, and this is a nice time to heal and equip the life ring. It's worth mentioning that there is a way to cheese the pursuer in the first encounter by using a glitch, and I am pretty sure this would be faster than killing the last giant, but that glitch is pretty difficult to perform, so let's go for the safer option. Finally, it's time for us to defeat the last giant, and he's actually pretty easy, but he can be a real asshole at times. If you're not careful, he will stop stomp at you. In Dark Souls 2 you have very little stamina to work with, so it's easy to get too aggressive to the point you can't dodge an attack. Fortunately, the fight went pretty well. I didn't take a hit and I use a Homeward Bone as soon as the fight ends. Now I'll warp back to Majula, and this is when it gets a little complicated, so let's go over one thing at a time. First thing that I do is go into Maulin's shop to pick up one Titanite shard that is inside the chest. Then I pay a visit to Kitty Shalqua to buy 6 alluring skulls. Then I open Leningra's shop to pick up the bow that is inside another chest. Finally, I talk to our waifu Shanalot, and then I use the soul of the last giant so I can level up. I'm leveling up Vigor to 16, I was playing wine just a bit, Strength to 14 and Dexterity to 10, so I can wield the weapon I plan to upgrade. The next step is going into Shaded Woods, but we need a fragrant branch of yore to open the path to it. That's why we're heading back to the Cardinal Tower bonfire. There's one branch located at the place Unbeknownst bonfire area, which is usually accessible only at the late game when you get the King's Ring, but we're skipping to it. First, we need to kill this Hollow so he doesn't fuck up our setup. Now we need to go up this ledge. To do this you have to equip the bow, and be sure you have nothing else equipped, because the lighter the equip load the easier it is to do this. You have to stand over here where my character is, then you have to face back, and then you have to do another slight tap down in the analog stick so you can do a little step forward in relation to where your character is facing. Now you have to press B or circle to do a back step. If you miss, you can just slide step forward again and do another back step, and just try again and again until you get it. It usually works at the second or third attempt. There's one setup that I saw on YouTube where you do a gesture, but I never could make it work. Once you're on top of the ledge, there's some stuff going on here. First, don't glue yourself to this other ledge, because you'll need space to wind up your jump. Second, you want to walk very slowly to the edge until your character seems to be on top of an invisible step. You see how the elevation of the character changed? That's the right spot. Then you want to aim your bow to the face of the giant. Doesn't have to be exactly there, but that's where I aim. And then you want to backstep, run and jump. And you want to run the maximum you can without triggering babe jump. The reason I leveled up Vigor to 16 was so I can survive this fall. The life ring also helps with that. Now you can just grab the fragrant branch of yore and we're ready to go to Shaded Woods. So yeah, let's warp back to Majula and proceed to Shaded Woods. There are 3 Homeward Bones at the entrance of this building, which are going to be useful later. Now let's unpetrify Rosabeth. And I'll be throwing 2 alluring skulls to distract the enemies until the gate opens. We can hit the basilisks with the jump attack, otherwise we will hit the wall, and now we just have to wait for this other gate to open. Luckily the enemies don't follow the character over here, which is weird since this is Dark Souls 2, and the enemies usually follow you all the way to the depths of hell. We can now proceed to the misty area. I'll just stop here real quick to pick up the soul. Don't mind me guys, don't stop your lunch because of me. I'm not even going to bother with the bonfire, let's just go straight to the foggy area. This area is pretty easy, you just have to glue yourself to the left wall until you can find a path to the head of Vanguard, an NPC that sells the weapon I want to upgrade. There's a soul on the way that I'm picking up, and unfortunately, piece of shit Forlorn invaded me. I ain't no condition to fight this guy, so I'll just force quit the game to get rid of him. Yeah, fuck this game. I loaded back in and Forlorn is gone. I'll use the souls that I picked up. Now I can safely buy my weapon of choice, the greatsword. But first you have to hear the entire story of the guy, and it's a pretty long story. I'll also buy 2 gold pine resins to use in the boss fights. Before heading to the Shaded Ruins, I'll do a little detour to pick up one of the best rings in the game. Just keep yourself glued to the same wall and eventually you'll be able to find a small path to the chest. Hitting the trees is useful because it distracts the ghost enemies. Inside this chest we have the Chloranthy Ring +1, which increases stamina regeneration. Now we can just drop down and go up the shaded ruins. I'll leave the bonfire because I'll need to go back to Majula in a bit. Now, what I'm going to do isn't entirely necessary, but it helps. There are 25k worth of souls scattered around shaded ruins, and I'll pick up them all. The first one is next to this cyanite. You can just bait one attack and pick it up. There's also a sublime bone dust inside the chest, but I'm not gonna bother with it. Then we jump back, and just past this cursed jar is the other soul. Now we can return to the bonfire area and proceed to the regular path, making sure to not stand around these cursed laughing hyena jars for too long. I'll equip the greatsword and the Chloranthy Ring, and now you understand why I chose the greatsword as my weapon. We have to be quick inside this room. Go straight and drop down, then roll through these barrels where another soul is located. You don't have to worry about the cursed jars in this spot, but there's a ghost with a dagger that might attack you, so you have to be quick. Outside this room there's a cursed jar that you have to roll through, otherwise it will curse you. And here's the reason why I chose the greatsword. The weapon is amazing at killing crystal lizards. However, I haven't upgraded it yet, so this one will take 3 hits. You have to be very careful not to hit the wall, otherwise you're done for. It isn't entirely necessary to kill this crystal lizard, since you can get more titanite chunks later, but this way we don't have to waste money on titanite shards. This lizard also drops a bolt stone, so you can infuse your weapon with lightning, which is pretty good. The ghost almost killed me, but we're fine, don't worry. Going back up, I'll go where these barrels are because there's another 5k soul over here. There's also a titanite chunk inside the chest, but I'm not going to bother with it because it's being guarded by a ghost, and well... yeah, we don't need it. Another 5k soul going up these stairs, and now we can go back to Majula to upgrade our weapon. Going into Lennygrass' shop, we have exactly 6 titanite shards and 1 large one. We can now upgrade our weapon to +4. The good thing about the souls from Shaded Wood is that now you can just level up your character to whatever build you feel like. In my case, I'll put everything into strength, so I can deal the maximum damage since the greatsword has good scaling with it. Now, we're heading back to Shaded Woods so we can face Quilag's knockoff. I mean, Scorpiones Natica. Let's use the gold pine resin and hope for the best. I'll start with 2 attacks to her human part before getting the fuck out. Now the strategy is baiting out her tail whip attack by hitting her back and her front back and forth. And this fight is actually going really well, probably my best Natica fight ever. Eventually she did her tail slam attack, which is even better because it takes a long time to finish and you can just attack her scot-free. I even managed to break her poise, which made me act really aggressive, and I got bonked by her tail, justifiable so. I managed to kill her, and now we can proceed to Tseldora. You can just go around these enemies. For this guy, I like to run into him to move him out of the way. Here's another crystal lizard that we have to kill. You can't miss this one. Luckily we have the best weapon to smash crystal lizards. Dodging these peasants isn't too hard, and now I'll throw an alluring screw so I can open this door. Now we make our way into Prowling Magus and Congregation, and then I decide to heal myself. Now, I usually never heal for a tiny bit of health like that, but thank God I did because the next fight went horribly. I tried to use an alluring skill, but it ended up being useless and it just served for me to get hit by both lightning attacks from the priests. And to top it off, I got hit by Prowling Magus AoE attacks, so yeah, a little bit of health was very useful at this moment. I managed to get some safe distance with a lot of close calls. After healing myself, I killed one of the priests and then I bonked the other one. The priests heal all of the enemies with miracles, so they should be the primary target upon entering the boss fight. I two-shot Prowling Magus and took care of the rest of the congregation with ease. It was a close call, but we managed to defeat the boss, and we were rewarded with the Titanite slab that we're not even going to use because we'll be picking up another Titanite slab in a moment. Now we reached the mines part of the Seldora. I'll lit the bonfire so I can warp back here, and down that platform there's another crystal lizard that we have to kill. I managed to do a plunging attack that instantly smashed him. Now we're about to face the most annoying crystal lizard of this run. You have to be very careful when killing this one. This crystal lizard provides a challenge even with the great sword. Alright, I got this. What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? What the? The bastard almost escaped, but I managed to kill him. Before going for my loot, I'll pick up the Titanite chunk that's over here next to this weird spider mutant. There's another Titanite chunk in a room down this area that I'll not pick up because I don't need it. Now we throw an alluring skill with style and pick up the rest of the materials. Finally, we have everything we need and we can go back to Medulla to upgrade our weapon to +10. We managed to do this in 25 minutes and 41 seconds, which is a pretty good time considering we didn't do any crazy glitches, and now we already have a weapon that will easily get us to the end of the game. It's crazy to think of how easy it is to become overpowering in this game, especially because it doesn't require any cryptic strategies. Someone who plays the game normally and just happens to go through shaded woods before any of the other areas can easily have an OP weapon without even trying. Now let's try it out! To make things more interesting, I'm gonna be using the Red Tear Stone Ring, which grants you like a 20% damage bonus when your health is below 20%. It's not as good as in the first game, but it's still something, right guys? Alright, so this is the old Dragon Slayer, and he's down. There you go. Wasn't that hard. He's not that good without his brother, right? Alright, so let's do the Dragon Rider, First we have the Dragon Slayer and now the Dragon Rider. And the secret for this boss is just circle around him and he's dead. This trick also works for like 90% of the other bosses. Alright, so now it's time for the Flexile Sentry. This boss can actually be a little difficult, And holy shit, that was a close one. But yeah, they're down. Yeah. Okay, now I gotta be real with you guys. I died like 20 times to this guy before this attempt. It's like he gives you very little openings, and this weapon takes a bit to hit. I just got hit in there, and luckily I survived. I have no idea how. My ADP is very low because I didn't really level it up, so it's not that easy to just roll away from the attacks, but he's down. And now let's do the Ruin Sentinels, yeah. And now let's do the Ruin Sentinels. Now for this first one, you just have to like circle around the Sentinel. And I almost died in there, but the Sentinel died in 3 hits, All of them are going to die in 3 hits. For this one, you can just run under it and yeah, she's down. Now the last sentinel. Holy shit, what the fuck? The pillar blocked me, but luckily I was able to to avoid the attack. If I comboed in there, I would have won, but I didn't, so yeah, it's okay. Alright, so I just find out something awesome about this weapon. Look at this. It's amazing, isn't it? Alright, now it's time for the Lost Sinner. And to make things even more interesting, I didn't even lead the arena using the torches. So we're gonna be fighting her in the dark. And this time we can get hit, because then I have like 1 health or something among those lines. And she's down. And I was able to do that on my first try. Looking comfortable, huh? And now let's do the gargoyles. And since this is Dark Souls 2, all of the enemies are multiplied by 2. Except the gargoyles, because you have like 8 of them or something like that. So yeah, I don't really have much high hopes for this fight. Each gargoyle is gonna take like 2 hits apparently, you know, but I gotta be honest with you guys, I'm very bad at dodging the gargoyles in all of the games that they are present, you know, like I just got hit in there. That was very unfortunate, but I was able to survive that, and holy shit, I might actually win this one. Holy shit, you know, I think that's the last one. Oh my god, this is the last one. Come on, just get down. No, what the fuck, man, that would have been so awesome. Why? No. Alright, now it's time for Meta, the baneful queen, and I don't. Honestly, I don't care anymore. Those gargoyles, it was my first try. It would be so epic if I made it, but I didn't, because that fucking gargoyle just decided to, like, you know, fly around. I hate when these fucking gargoyles, they fly around. In all of the games, I'm like, fuck that flying. It sucks. You know, one thing that is interesting about the RTSR is that even the easiest boss in the game can actually become difficult. You know, you can put up a challenge. You know, you saw I just died in there. You know, I picked up my bloodstain, but I actually deleted the recording where I died, so you're not gonna be able to see it. Alright, so Forlorn is really pissed that I quit the game before, so he's coming for his revenge. But now I'm prepared to take him down. We have like a great sword duel or something, and he's actually putting up a pretty good fight, but I'm gonna be able to do it. Yeah, you're down, bitch. You know, this weapon is actually really good against NPCs, so yeah, I do recommend it. Now, this is the greatest swordsman of Mirha, and he's down. But you know what's sexier than 1 + 10 great sword? 2 + 10 great swords. Alright, let's try this out on the Smelter Demon, and I'm not gonna be running the RTSR because I do care for my mental health, and this guy actually deals damage in a passive way with his fire, so yeah. To be honest, I'm not really all that impressed with the damage, but he's down. Now let's try this build in some co-oping, you know. Let's be a Sombro and help some hosts that are struggling with this area. You know, Iron Keep's pretty difficult area. There's a lot of enemies, and the boss is also pretty challenging, so We're here to help. Now let's go to the boss. Even Lucatio is gonna join us. That's cool. So let's go, let's go, let's go. Yeah, are you fucking kidding me? I just wasted a pine resin on that. What the fuck? Wow, why did you do that to me? Damn, bro. Now that was a bummer. Alright, thank you so much for watching this video. Leave a like, subscribe, comment if you want, and I see you guys next time.